Regular council meeting of the Village of Armada will now come to order. Will everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, call roll, please.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark. Conan.
Here.
Wallach.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Cooper. Here. Belkey. Here.
Next is approval of the agenda. What's the council's wishes, please?
President, I'll move the agenda to be accepted as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is a citizen comment. Anyone in the audience who'd like to address the council at this time, you're welcome to. Stand up, state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes to do so.
It won't take me 3 minutes.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. I'm State Representative Jeff Yark. I just want to thank you, Mr. President, council members, for opening up the chamber an hour before your council meeting to allow me to do my continuing my listening tour that I go around my whole district and just make sure that that I'm available to constituents if they want to come in and talk about concerns. We had a few people come in and talk about some things, and just make sure people know I'm available. And also, as I said, be here for the meeting, and also be available to council and local government on concerns that they have, to make sure that they know that their state rep is available to them, and that to advocate for, especially local government, which is so important. That local government does so many things, and you've heard it from me again before. Again, re-emphasizing how important local government is, and so many important services that people get really are done by local government. And my view from the state is being a state rep and having come from local government is to support all of you in doing your job in any way that I can. So again, just want to share with you any way that I can be of assistance. I want to be here for you, and and residents are always able to reach out, and we'll try to help them with their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate your
Appreciate your attendance. Anyone else would like to address the council at this time? If no one else, there will be no presentations tonight. We don't have any. Administrative reports, you have them in your packet. Deputy report, treasurer's report, and the liaison report. But tonight, Mr. Clark is not here, but Scott is here, representative of F&V. Scott, do you want to address the council with some of the items of concern?
Sure. The September 2018 discharge monitoring report has been submitted to MDQ. The wastewater plant was in compliance with all the NPDES permit limits for the month of September. The average flow for this month was 83,000 gallons per day. The max flow for a single day was 122,000 gallons on September 20th. Hydrodyne was on site for the installation startup of the mechanical bar screen that we got back. After some adjustment, the mechanical bar screen is working according to design specifications per the Hydrodyne technician. And we brought this up last month too about the arsenic and biosolids. I wanted to go over that a little bit again. The arsenic concentration was 70.3 milligrams per kilogram on the biosolid sample that was collected on August 29th by Biotech Agronomics. FVOP recommends applying extra water to thin the biosolids when they're land applied next time. This should help remove some of the residual arsenic that has settled in the last foot or so in the sludge storage tanks. The applying of the water would be an out-of-scope service, and the village would pay the same price per gallon as FVOP. The village also would need to replace the 2-inch yard hydrant that's next to the storage tanks to apply extra water for the land application process. And we'd also need to provide a fire hose and a water meter so FVOP could accurately bill the village for the gallons of water used.
Do you have any idea on cost for that, Scott?
No, I can look into that though for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, we're definitely going to need it. I know it was right on the limit of hazardous waste disposal. I think it's like 74 milligrams per kilogram, so we came right under. There would be a lot more to dispose of it. Water would be much cheaper. So definitely can look into that.
Okay.
And then some of the action items, the emergency eye wash and shower that is located in laboratories also needs to be replaced. I think it's 30 years old, something like that, I looked into. It's not functioning properly, and MIOSHA requires that the tempered water be supplied to the eye wash and shower units, so there may be some additional plumbing costs associated with installation of that unit to replace or repair the tempering valve. And then we also brought this up last month, but go over it again. The Colonial Street lift station seal hatch is just extremely rusted, pitted, unsafe overall. We have contacted some appendices, we'll get to that. There's a quote out by Eifert. And due to the electrical issues, I know there's historically some electrical issues at the plant. Some recommendations: install a new 120 volt power supply for the PLC, motor starter, contacts, and other equipment that are on this voltage. Inspect electrical wiring and equipment at the plant. This should include checking of ground connection, proper bonding, and loose connections. Inspection of each transformer and control panel due to the performance issues and the overall age of the equipment. And then lastly, the maintenance and general housekeeping were completed in accordance with the O&M manual recommendations. Completed work orders included in Appendix D. It was noted in May of 2018 by Oldbuyer Instrumentation that the Hydro Range effluent flow meter is on its last contact for the 420 milliamp signal and can fail at any time. It's a pretty important part of the process. We recommend being proactive and having a new effluent flow meter installed as soon as possible. Proposals from Oldbuyer Instrumentation and UIS to replace the effluent flow meter are located in Appendix D. On September 12th, FEOP assembled the stainless steel unistrut that holds the mechanical bar screen control, electrical controls. This was an out-of-scope work and will be invoiced accordingly. Pictures of the stainless steel rack are located in Appendix G.
Scott, on that Colonial Street lift station, the steel hatch.
Yep.
Did you get a bid for that?
Yep, we got one that's coming the next one, yep.
Oh, it isn't?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's Appendix F, if you want to look at it a little bit. But yeah, we did get one.
it's 10,180, I think.
Good. Do it.
And then on September 17th, Tony's HVAC was on site to perform the annual CSD1 inspection.
2016.
And then the hatch, yeah, is on September 18th. TH Eifert was out at Colonial Street to do that, which was Appendix F. And then operational wise, on September 10th, FEOP collected the effluent mercury samples in accordance with the pollution minimization plan for mercury. We have to schedule a site visit with the dentist, which I think Chris has for November 5th, I believe. He's got that going to inspect and request maintenance and recycling records for their amalgam separators. And then this one I wasn't a part of, but Chris was. On September 25th, FEOP met with the Macomb County Drain Commission, Steve Clark, and a representative from the village of Armada's DPW to discuss the possibility of becoming part of the regional sewer authority. Chris will have to fill in more on that. I'm not completely sure what all that was involved. But, and as far as call-ups, we didn't have any during September. So
Good.
that was good.
On the lift station, is there gonna be any more bids, do you think?
I think he has one for Jet. We might be including the one. I'm pretty sure they were out there also.
What's that quote?
Appendix F.
Appendix F. My concern is just our liability that somebody falls in there and gets hurt. Other than that,
Especially with Halloween coming along, there's a lot of kids back there.
Yeah, it's. So basically, the pictures aren't the greatest, but you just to raise it up and flush it out.
Yeah, it gives it time. I'd like to reiterate that that's the sewer plant report, not the water plant. So when you hear of arsenic, that's not our drinking water,
Right.
it's our sewer.
Yes, and the biosolids, which is going to land
We've
applications.
had that
Completely
problem with
separate. Yeah.
misunderstanding before,
Yes,
so.
we have.
Yeah.
On that about where poison
Thank you.
is the school.
No, no.
Very good.
yeah, thanks for coming out, Scott.
Any other questions of Scott, please? If not, Scott, thank you for coming.
Appreciate you guys' time, and now we're gonna get those quotes for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, so we can get that rectified.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would definitely help get that stuff out
Do
of
we
there.
need to do anything around that lift station for Halloween? I
Couldn't we put like a, just a fence around it or something?
mean, some kind
We have to
of,
talk to Ed. I'm sure we could put those just like when we had the water main break today, they had those sawhorses.
Something there.
I
Just
put a little-
something there.
Put a little orange.
I think that's a good.
Yeah, we certainly can run out there, just let us know, we can put something out, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Why don't
Ed's
you do
got, if
that?
Ed's got something, he could put them out.
Yeah,
Yeah, he might have access to more than what you guys have,
yeah, maybe some sort of tape too around it, so.
Yeah.
kinda-
but he's got actual sawhorses,
Yeah, that-
DPW
Did you
sawhorses.
mention that, Dan?
Yeah.
Could you shout out on here?
Yep,
I think it's really important.
yep, I can ask him tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you guys for your time.
Just another thing that's in there was J.S. Clark, they're like the MML who we use right now, wanted to come out and give me a quote. I don't know if anybody, I mean, we don't need to, I'm not looking for a motion or anything. I know in the past, we've not really been too interested in leaving the MML, and I told him that, but he sent over an offer to come and talk to me. You know, if you guys think you're interested in that, I can bring it back. If not, I'm just letting you know. So.
What are
It's
they?
insurance? It's insurance. Right now, we're with the MML. And I'm not sure if they also handle, yeah, it's like educational programs for employees, complete administration, plan analysis, design, all that type of stuff. You know, but we're also with the MML pool, which handles, you know, any legal action that we have, and they've always been phenomenal. So I put it in there. If you guys, if somebody wants me to bring it back, I'll bring it back to the next meeting and I'll set something up.
All right, fine, thank you, Michelle. The consent agenda, approval of the regular council meeting minutes of October the 8th, payment of bills, special event permit application, which is the AMVETS Auxiliary, which would be on the four corners and used as a fundraiser. What is the council's wishes as to the consent agenda, please?
I'll move the consent agenda to be accepted as presented.
Support.
We have a motion supported, that's all, and, excuse me. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Going into old business, sewer plant update. Well, I think you got most of it there from Chris. And,
Scott.
Scott.
I mean,
Yeah.
pardon me, Scott, so used to Chris here, so. And the West Main Street would be an update from Mr. Ballard, please.
Okay, well, as you all know, we've started our West Main Street reconstruction out there. We've run into a few little snafus, as you generally do with construction. We had a couple water services hit, they've been replaced, or repaired. We also, today I was down there about 45 minutes, I went down there about 4 o'clock and got out of there about 4:45. I talked with Ray Ryan, and out there, as we all know, the West Kent House out there between Teets and Simon Street, they hit the sewer there, and they could not find the sewer where it went to the main. So they started digging, and in that time, the sewage backed up in the basement. So they had Service Pro out there, and they're taking care of that. Also, I talked with Tony Fidel, I guess, right next door to him, and right next door to the West Kent, former West Kent home. And he said that they have 2 sewer taps out there, and one was the original sewer tap from when the house was built, and another one was from when they added on a bathroom in the back. They came out and they just tapped the sewer. That was it. And so I said, well, okay, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But we are finding out that some of the engineering groups, and none of our current engineering groups, believe me, did not do us any justice out on West Main Street. We have found that there's been some cross connections where storm sewer was going into sanitary, which doesn't help our sewage plant. And hopefully when this is all done, it's going to be all corrected. but we may have to extend the final date on our completion as far as November 15th. That was according to Mr. Ryan from Spalding Decker. He is keeping track of all of the extra work that's going in. What they found at the West Kent home was, the former West Kent home, I guess we're gonna call it, is that there was a septic tank in the back that was still there, that was supposed to have been taken out back in, when the plant was built, when they separated the sewers, never was taken out. And so they had to actually dig a new sewer line right up between the two homes. And when I was out there, they were getting ready to expose the line where it goes into the house. So that's where they're at today. They want to work 7 days a week on this thing, from daylight until dark, which I said, go for it, guys, I don't care. And I'm sure our council doesn't care if they do that. Other than that, things are coming along. They've got the one crew working on the sewer line and the other one putting in the storm sewer structures going out to the west. So they are progressing, they're progressing every day. So that's all we can ask of them. So,
Very good.
When will they do the wood deck?
that'll be towards the last. Because we have to keep that open for emergency vehicles, etc., as long as we possibly can.
That should only be probably about, excuse me, about maybe 3-4 days, maybe at the most, if it is.
Under old business, I wanted to do it under the general business, but we did have a water main break on Church Street, and it's already been repaired. Ed called me yesterday, and I think he was out there at 8:30 this morning, and at 12:15 I checked with them, and it had already been repaired. They were already taking the notifications down on people's doors that they hadn't gotten them. So hopefully we got it out to the public, and they didn't have to boil water or anything, so we should be good to go.
Even with the repair, there's not gonna be a boil of water for the repair
Not
down
that
there,
I'm aware
flushing
of.
the lines?
They didn't,
Because that was his concern in the notice, was that in the process of flushing the lines, things would be stirred up and they should boil their water, so.
no, they didn't, apparently they did not shut off the main.
Right, they
Okay.
didn't have to shut the main off.
Okay.
It was
I
a
just want to be
repair.
clear.
Yeah, they did not have to shut off the main. That's what he was a little concerned with.
Okay,
And the valve said he didn't have to do that.
because I'm sure we'll get more calls tomorrow.
Yeah, well, then you can tell them that,
Right.
right from Wild Valley.
Right from the water.
Very good, thank you. Gonna go to new business, we have a public hearing at so-called 7 o'clock, which is always scheduled as such, and it can happen after 7 o'clock. Consider adoption of an ordinance amending Title 9, Chapter 97, SS 97-6 of the Village Code to revise the village's liquor control regulations to conform with new state law provisions regarding the purchase, possession, of consumption of liquor by persons under 21 years of age. So, someone wants to make a motion to that effect, please?
The time is 7:21. I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Support?
Moved and supported, all in favor?
No, I gotta do a,
All roll
roll
call.
call. Cooper?
Yes.
Ballard?
Yes.
Bullock?
Yes,
Belkey? Yes. Shaw?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
okay, motion carried. Public hearing is now open. Chief, did you want to address anything on that
Can he
at
do
all?
it, can he do it in public hearing, can he do it after?
Yeah, he can do it after.
Got nothing for you, Mark.
Nothing, okay.
And well then,
Chief, if you want, it's up to you.
Do you want me to make a motion to close the public hearing first?
yeah.
Well, yeah, probably better we should.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. It is 7:22.
Support.
I'm glad I got a chance to talk a little bit. So all in favor?
Do we need?
No, not a roll to close, just a roll to open.
Yeah,
Okay.
just do, yeah.
Aye.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Chief, now if you would like to,
Sure. The state law regarding minor possession of alcohol was changed in January of this year, several months ago, and it took effect, and what it does is makes the first offense for a minor in possession of alcohol a civil infraction instead of a misdemeanor. So first offense is a civil infraction, second offense is a misdemeanor. And our ordinance as it was only addressed a misdemeanor situation. I had some discussion with the village attorney, and he was reluctant and said they couldn't enforce our ordinance unless we updated it to be the same that the state law was changed to in January. We had a case, which we don't come across very often, a second offense for minor possession of alcohol. He couldn't authorize that charge. We had to authorize a civil infraction because our ordinance wasn't up to date. Now it will be. And like I say, it's not often that we have that situation with minors in possession of alcohol, but we should stay up to date and current with the state laws. This does just that.
Very good, thank you, Chief.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to adopt ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 97, subsection 97-6 of the Village Code to revise the village's liquor control regulations to conform to new state law provisions regulating the purchase, possession, and consumption of alcohol by persons under 21 years of age.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the public hearing also for the ordinance amending and repealing sections of Chapter 96 of the Village Code to update provisions governing the treatment and control of animals and authorize officers of Macomb County Animal Control to enforce the village's regulations within the village of Armada.
The time is 7:24. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Cooper,
Yes.
Baylor,
Yes.
Delkey. Yes. Shaw,
Yes.
Clark is not here, Conan,
Yes.
Watt,
Yes, motion carried. Any comments from public?
So basically, the Macomb County Animal Control is going to be enforcing this ordinance, is that correct?
They can, as a matter of routine, that's not the intent of the ordinance at all. We call them occasionally, maybe once a year, for assistance with getting abandoned animals out of a home or a yard and seeking their assistance to transport them down to the Macomb County Animal Shelter. This came about, I want to say a year and a half ago perhaps, where the animal control officers enforced a local ordinance, not this one, a local ordinance for a municipality. The case went to court and they lost their case in court because the judge said the animal control officer had no authority to enforce local ordinance within that jurisdiction.
So this would cover that?
This would cover that. It gained some cooperation between us and that agency, so that in the event we do have need for them, the need does arise, they can come here and assist us. For whatever reason, they're the experts in the animal field, we're not. For a situation that we're not familiar with, or we need animals housed and held, they'll be more than cooperative to do that. They were somewhat reluctant the last couple times we did call upon them for assistance because they weren't able to enforce any ordinance here. Or they did not want to enforce any ordinance here because they would feel that it would just get dismissed in court. Several municipalities have done this in the last year. I don't really see them being here to enforce anything unless we ask them. It's kind of difficult to get them up there, they're very limited in resources. But in the event we do need them, this would eventually get their cooperation.
Very good.
Very good, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
The time is 7:27. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Bid for sidewalk replacement.
No,
we have to,
Right.
we have to make the motion.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to adopt the ordinance amending sections 96-1, 96-5, 96-7, and 96-8, and repealing sections 96-10, 96-11, 96-12, 96-13, and 96-14 of Chapter 96 of the Village Code, update provisions governing the treatment and control of animals, and authorizing officers in Macomb County Animal Control to enforce the regulations provided for within the Village of Armada.
Support.
Moving and supported. Any further discussion?
Was it you, Len?
Yep.
Yeah, Lon. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, now next is the award the bid for sidewalk replacement. This would be Mr. Ballard's department in the streets.
Well, we're gonna replace some sidewalks here in the village, and we've got a proposal from D&E. We contacted 3, we got 1. What the heck, that's better than none. We're gonna do some at 274 Burke Street, about 395 square feet, and some at 74321 Fair Street is 144 square feet. So therefore, I would resolve to accept the proposal from, it says D&L, it's supposed to be D&E Landscaping
Oh.
for, and grading incorporated in the amount of $5,675 for sidewalk replacement.
Is there support?
Support.
It doesn't include it out front here.
Yes, that is. That's
Oh.
out here.
I'm sorry.
And has the property owner on Fair Street been notified yet? or-
No,
Okay, and this total amount, is this just our portion, or is that the total amount of
that's
the
the
project?
total amount of the project.
Okay,
You see, that's they pay half, right?
I believe so.
So they'll have to be notified.
Mhm.
We'll see to that too, Michelle.
Yeah, I'll get a file.
Yeah, so we need to be aware of it. Okay, and this is money to be spent, so we're gonna have to have a roll call on this.
Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Cooper?
yes.
Bullock?
Yes,
Conan?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
motion carried.
Mr. President, I would like to bring this to council's attention. We also went out and we've got a quote for 280 square foot of 6-inch concrete and 479 linear feet of 4 foot wide by 4-inch thick concrete, except for driveways crossing, where the driveway crossing is 6 inches. And that price is $13,640. Our treasurer is going to take a look at the budget, make sure to see if we've got any money that's sitting there that we can spend on these sidewalks. And if that's the case, it's on Burke Street near the elementary school in the village of Armada. And that money we'll call a special meeting to approve this contract, if that's the president's wishes.
Yeah, because I think we still have some time left at the weather permitting, in other words, is what we're talking about.
Do you mean by the administration building?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
right straight down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a couple wide driveways down there. Okay,
And this will be Act 51 money that will be used for these.
Right, it'll be Act 51 money that we're
Then
using.
it takes us up to the.
So therefore, that does not fall into the Davis Bacon and all that
No,
other kind of stuff,
because
does it?
it's coming out of Act 51.
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Mr. President,
Yes,
while you're still talking about the sidewalk thing, knowing how important time is this time of year, the council could consider granting authority for approval up to a dollar amount. If the treasurer finds that you have funds to cover it, then you don't have to have a special meeting, or you wouldn't have to wait 3 weeks to your next meeting, because 3 weeks this time of year is
Could be,
pretty important.
Sure is.
yeah.
Yeah, because getting the 1st of November, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right, I mean, it could be nice or it might not be.
Yeah.
But in an effort to provide, allow the opportunity to move forward, if you have the funds, you might want to consider that.
Well, being as though we have, you know, a bid there, I think too, it'd be worth it to go that way too, Doug, so. Because only had one bid on the other.
Right.
And I know a lot of the companies are wrapping up their projects too because of winter.
Right, and if they're gonna come in to do the first project, it might be better for them to stay and do the second or some portion of it, depending on your funding.
Sure.
You don't pay the mobilization costs.
Right.
So,
How does the budget look, just off the top of your head, Joe?
We've got some things to work now with West Main. I gotta look at it, see what funds can go. Get the budget amended to shift to sidewalks instead of the construction project. To just say off the top of my head, yeah, go ahead, you got plenty. I'm not gonna tell you that tonight.
How soon could you get that information?
Tomorrow morning.
so,
How would you put a motion on the floor like that?
To authorize the street administrator,
But we need a dollar amount.
yeah, but I was gonna say, I mean, go as high as you can, up to 13,000.
640.
13,640.
And then just make subject to treasurer's review and
Yeah,
authorization.
there you go.
Right. All right, so to authorize the street administrator to spend up to $13,640 pending, for sidewalk replacement, repair,
On Burke Street.
replacement. Well, it's just repair. No, you're replacing.
No, they're replaced.
Okay, replacement on Burke Street pending,
Subject to,
Subject to treasurer's approval.
subject to treasurer. You don't want to say approval, do you, Joe?
review and authorization.
So to authorize street administrator to spend up to $13,640 for sidewalk repair replacement on Burke Street, subject to treasurer's review and authorization.
Motion. Did you put the number of feet in there?
No, I don't ever do that.
Just come on.
Mr.
All right.
Ballard made that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Good. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? This is possibly money spent, so we're gonna have to have a roll call on this.
Bailey?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Shaw?
What's his name? Yes.
Wolock?
Yes.
Yes.
Could be worse, could have been for you.
That's right.
Next to the engineering proposal for the SRF project from Real Professional Services. Doug Skylis, our engineer, is here.
So, Mr. President and council members, we met last week, and then we met in September. The village is going to be taking out a SRF loan to do improvements at the treatment plant. We've been working on it for quite some time. And the MDEQ is expressing their concern on a regular basis about moving forward on the project because you've been taking a long time to get this far. So last week's meeting was to try to get comfortable with how much funding you can borrow and be able to pay that back. So I think at your last meeting, you authorized the treasurer to work with the bonding company so they can run some numbers for the village. And so I think they're working on that, but you don't have that input yet from the bonding company. So you don't know whether or not your project would be 1.5 million or 2.5 million or 3 million. because you're still trying to size that up with the bonding company and have them put that in terms of rates, so you know what you can do. The DEQ is going to insist that you do as much as you can, and that's gonna be a bit of a discussion point, but I would expect that to be at least $2 million at the plant. Your current SRF loan is $2,175,000 or something, and they know that your plant is in disrepair, needs a great deal of work, and this is the start of that process. So, we met last week, as I said, we had some discussions, but I don't think we can wait longer to find out how much you can afford to do, because according to the schedule the DEQ publishes, you have these milestone dates that you gotta meet, and we're already probably 2 months or 3 months behind that schedule to meet those dates. So my letter to Joe and the council clerk is to at least get us started with the preliminary work. There's a bunch of work we have to do to get things going on the design side of things and do some evaluations at the plant, put our team together to be able to do that stuff, while you're trying to get comfortable with your bond counsel to figure out exactly how much you're gonna do. So my letter is a brief explanation of that and suggesting that you authorize $30,000 to get it started. That way we can start tomorrow, look at getting things done, and meanwhile, while the treasurer works with the bond council, you guys can get comfortable with your numbers. But I can only re-emphasize so many times, we can't wait. It's not about what I'm asking for tonight, but it's about this whole process, because once this schedule's committed to, it's kind of a big deal when you miss it. And the DEQ has made it very clear at the meeting in September that they have an administrative consent order written that's gonna be sent to Armada if you don't get this stuff done. They've reached their limit on talking, waiting, helping, and they are desperately trying to get you guys to move forward. And an administrative consent order is basically a judgment against the village, and it's a thou shall from the DEQ.
My question is, the scope of the work that we're gonna do over there, how are we gonna know if we don't have the money, what the DEQ wants from us?
Well, your project plan that was done lays out a list of things to do, and it has some dollar values with that, and there's always more things to do than what you're gonna have money for.
Sure.
So it's a matter of prioritizing those, having the dollars to go with that, and then say, okay, if you can afford this much, where do we cut that list off at? Somewhere in there is where you're gonna cut it off. And I think if it's done in earnest and, close to your funding limits or more, I think the DEQ would move right along with you.
Okay.
But if you
that's my
come back
concern.
and say that you can only afford $1 million, I think the DEQ is going to have an injunction against the village and force you to do more. Because your plan is for $2,175,000, and I think they're fully expecting you to do at least that much, if not more.
Okay. And that's what we're putting in for, Joe, to these bond?
Well, what we're doing with the bond council is putting together a rate amortization to see what the dollar amounts would have to be, because you gotta pay it back.
Right.
So it's gotta go on to the water bill.
Sure.
So
That's gonna be passed on to the
with that
taxpayer.
methodology, the bond council will take care of looking into everything, what has to go on to it, what it involves, how much it'll cost you. But what Doug is presenting to you tonight is crucial, because that puts them steps ahead of where I'm going to be getting that information. They can be accumulating everything, getting it rolling, getting it started. And of course, we started this S2 years ago.
Right.
So there is an inflation on the numbers that Doug's looking at too, so he's got to give us some realistic numbers
Okay,
on if we do A, B, C, D, E prioritized.
okay.
So,
So you need a motion tonight
We
for the
need that motion.
$30,000.
yep.
But to at least get us started.
Okay. Is that in writing?
The motion is actually to accept the proposal from Road Professional Services. Jeff did not put a dollar amount.
Yeah, this one right here.
You want to put a dollar amount on
And
it?
then what I've said
No,
in
this
here
is the
is,
proposal, so you're accepting this. This has a dollar.
Oh, okay.
and what I,
So we gotta use accept rather than consider.
To accept a
What are you,
proposal.
what are you saying?
I don't see
It
consider.
says
No.
to consider a proposal by road professional service company.
Mine says.
Mine
No,
That's
but
the
the
wrong
motion, the motion says to
Oh,
accept.
okay,
That's your agenda statement.
okay.
and then what I've said in the letter is, when we know the dollar amount and
That's-
can confirm the scope, we'll come back with a full agreement for the services.
Right.
We
We
got it.
aren't, we aren't interested in doing that reverse amortization thing like they did in DDA, right, for the bond?
No.
And we're not gonna do a balloon payment at the end, it'll all
We
be,
only have balloon payments at the end. The DWRF has a ban, the bond anticipation note attached to it.
Mhm.
Because when that bond closed, we hadn't had enough time to collect enough water payments to make the actual first bond payment. So the ban is a loan for the first down payment. So,
Right.
but that you won't really know until things close.
right,
but
but I'm
I'm
saying
not
balloon payment
anticipating
at
that
the
we will.
end. There won't.
No, we don't have balloon
Okay.
payments at the
No.
end of them.
Cool.
No. It'll amortize out.
Perfect.
So I'll make a motion to accept the proposal by Rural Professional Service Company Incorporated for engineering services in connection with the SRF project to rehabilitate the Armada wastewater treatment plant.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? We better have
Roll
Got a
call.
roll call, yeah.
Shaw,
Yeah.
Ballard,
Yes.
Wolak,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Belkey. Yes. Cooper. Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my throat here tonight. Guess I'm not drinking the right stuff.
Must be.
Prune juice, maybe? All right, work. What did I do in hell? It was my paper again.
Here.
I got it. Up and coming agenda items, council have any? Floor is open to senior, citizens' comments again. Nobody wants to address. Council comments.
Halloween's coming up. Little kids costume
That's
party at the
community
Lions Club.
events.
Trick or treating is from 6 to 8.
There's a ZBA
6 to
meeting
8.
tomorrow night,
Yes.
ZBA tomorrow night, very good.
7 PM, I believe.
Okay, and I think it's regular time, isn't it? We don't have a closed session tonight, and I'm gonna entertain a motion for adjournment.
That time is 7:45, I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.